What's up, everybody? Okay, so as I've mentioned before in my previous videos, I have been working on moving my fish room from the shed where it I want to say originally was, but we moved to this new house, moved the fish room to the shed. I was gonna insulate the shed, blah blah blah. Decided to move the fish room from the shed to the house because the insulating would have worked, but it would have taken too much time. So here we are. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do a real quick video. I'm actually gonna show you guys some of this crazy chaos because anybody who's actually doing a fish room, they need to understand that you know the old saying, you got to break a whole bunch of eggs to make an omelet. And I'm going to elaborate on that and say, when you're breaking a bunch of eggs, it's very messy. You're gonna make a mess. You're gonna make a big mess with all those eggshells and all that yolk and everything. You're gonna spill some stuff. So a little bit here. This is my therapist office at home. This is where I do virtual counseling. I try to keep a nice small window so it doesn't look like a disaster in here. Some of my clients do just phone sessions. I just talk to them on the phone. Some of them are video, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's so I'm gonna show you guys, and you guys can kind of see a little bit behind me. There's a lot of the messy stuff here, but I'll show you guys around in here. I'm gonna make it kind of short because I'm headed to bed. Yesterday I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning working on this. Today I actually got up pretty early, around 6 o'clock. So yeah, it's been a lot, and I'm exhausted. I'm really tired. I think it's like 7 o'clock right now. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'll flip the video around and you guys can see. I'm not really going to flip the video around. I'm actually going to pause it and start another one over again because I don't know how to. I wish there was a way that I could do this on my phone. I got like a little spot. You guys can't see me doing what I'm doing, but anyways, I was just scratching my screen because I had a little spot. I was something there. Probably duckweed. I got duckweed all over the place. All right, cool. So give me a second. All right, see you in a second. Alright, so here we are at the very top of the tanks here. Got my lids, got my auto feeders. I do feed my fish live food culture, but I also feed them I also have like auto feeders on them because I feed them 3 to 4 times a day because, you know, I'm trying to breed them. This is my little water system I have going on. This thing here I'm going to fill up with water and it will, you know, flow through this line. I have float valves, similar to the same one that you would have in your toilet. When the water's too low, the float valve will drop, opening up that little reservoir or that little cavity, that little open space, so the water can flow into it. So every single one of these tanks is going to have a float valve. Well, almost all of the tanks have a float valve. So. But that's what this line is. So that line goes to each one of these tanks. Okay, and then the lids are for the humidity, trying to keep the humidity down. I do not have a skill saw. I have some pretty cool power tools. I don't know what this thing's called, but I have this really awesome little hand saw. But it's not like a skill saw, so I can't cut perfect straight lines with it. So I bought this stuff at Lowe's. It is the siding, greenhouse siding. It's greenhouse siding, and it's $66, 8 feet long, 4 feet wide. So it was really nice. And I actually used a box cutter. I used a box cutter to cut it, and they're not perfectly straight, but that's okay because I oversized them. I measured out like about an inch longer. You can see the edge here. See, there's a tank there, and it goes all the way to the edge here. So yeah, they're just oversized. I wanted to make sure because, you know, I want to do some cleaning up on these guys later on. So I have my airline up here. So the airline, I got got my air pump way over there. So I got my air pump. That's a piston. It's a piston air pump. So I have air going into all of my tanks. Okay, so what we got here? So the air pump. So I don't know. It was a little frustrating because here in the apartment, in the house, I don't really know exactly what. Like trying to find studs in the ceiling is a nightmare. You know, one or two I could find. Like my lamp, my actual lamp before I moved the fish room in there was hanging from that, and you know, it took a little bit of time to find a stud, but I found one. So hanging the air line from the ceiling was kind of a pain. I got this idea to take some recycled PVC pipe, you know, PVC pipe that I've had from other projects, and just kind of put it together and then like tie it to my fish rack. See, the fish rack is pretty heavy duty, so tie it to that and then use that as kind of like legs to hold up this thing here. So it is kind of being held up that way, and it's working. It's fine. Okay, what else can I tell you guys super quick? So I'll show you guys what I have in these tanks. Trip to Seattle recently. These snails have been in here for over a week now, and they're doing fine. They're doing good. So this is a very special tank. There's nothing else in here but these snails. I'm going to put in two Endler guppies that I have. Then I have my green water. So these guys are filter feeders. So I do have this green water here for these guys, and also my Daphnia cultures as well. This is my scud tank. It's pretty late. The scuds are going nuts. You guys can see them all over the place. It's pretty cool. Got a Matin filter in the back. Let's see if it's... Yeah, I see the Matin filter. Yeah, so anyways, so there's that. This entire tank down here is also live food culture. It's also full of my sponges. Like basically any of my sponges, any of my filter media stuff, like filter floss, any of that kind of stuff, I just threw in this tank. So I was breaking down tanks, I threw that shit in there. This is substrate from the tanks originally when I broke them all down. Then I also have some red wigglers, which are like earthworms. So it's compost, basically compost. And a piece of paper towel fell in there. I do need to add water to it because I had a fan blowing on it just to kind of keep the airflow around it, which I guess was a bad idea because it kind of dried it out a little bit. But I mean, if you dig down, you can still see some. It's not as moist as it needs to be, so I do need to add more water to it. But yeah, so I'll throw something in. Okay, so I have my swordtails. Yeah, the water's cloudy. I've been doing work in here, moving things around. And these are my, these are a type of inlet. I just can't remember the name of them right now. So these tanks are a mess. Some of them are a little clearer than others. So, yeah. Just kind of showing you guys what I have been working on. So you guys saw how I have the auto feeder set up. I am going to work on making sure everything is set to where when the food falls in, it will actually land. I got where to go? Show you this idea that I came up with. So I've got this styrofoam thing, this styrofoam brick here. I drilled a hole in it, so when the auto feeder drops the food in, it's gonna go into here. So. I also have these floating rings. These floating rings aren't very good because these stupid, you know how the suction cups are, but you can also tie like a piece of fishing line to it and just kind of anchor it to the side so it won't move. But the thing is look how thin that is, right? So this is pretty thick. Duckweed's not going to get completely in this hole. So that's something I am still working on to make it perfect. But it's the whole thing, right? It's like all these tanks all these tanks need attention. They all need a little attention. I got my fry. Ugh. So trying to make everything to where I can actually get to it, because that was one of the things too. So I got the green water right here. That's a lot easier for me to get to than down there. So this is some of my extra rock. I love rock. So I did have the green water way down there, and I was like, okay, that is nice, but I can't really get to it. So I moved it here. This is an acrylic tank that I made. It's pretty sloppy, but it works. It holds water, no leaks, blah, blah, blah. It's just for breeding fish. I wasn't trying to make some pretty thing. But yeah, so this, my point is this is easier to get to, obviously. Okay, now let me show you what I have in here. Now, I'm also going to do some work with this. I have some hinges. I got these hinges here. I know my desk is a freaking mess. I'm just showing you guys, like, this is, you know, some people can do this without being as messy as I am, but this is just, so locking screws, because I don't want this thing to fall out. And more locking screws. More locking screws. I got a lot of locking screws. Some bolts for the locking screws. And now, the great reveal. Hinges. Okay, so I got these cool hinges. Okay, so this right here, I am going to create a cool little, like a door, so I could just open this up and I could take a look when I want to. So these are my fry racks. Right now they are full of blackworms. This one here is full of blackworms. These are full of different live foods. I got 2 German breeding rings over there. So I got 2 German breeding rings. And then I got 4 of these things, right? 4 of these fry racks. And a pothos. Don't want the pothos to dry. Get back in there, you. Pothos. I'm not sure what kind of pothos this is, but it is a really cool one. It's really big. Like, the leaves are huge. Look at this. It's beautiful. Beautiful plant. This is one of my wife's plants. I bought for her. I've been taking, well, I take care of all the plants in the house. But this is, so I took a clipping of this one. This was in her office, which let me tell you, her office is way nicer looking than mine. Mine looks like a hurricane hit it. But I'll have it pretty organized here. But yeah, so you guys saw this. The way these work here, you know, like, they're airlift pumps. You know, airlift pump. So the airline, right? This is the airline, guys. Remember the airline? We looked at it across right over there. That's where we looked at it a moment ago. So the airline goes in there, sucks in through the sponge, and then you can see the water flowing in. And then there's a little sponge back there where the water flows out. So you put your little baby fish in there, you grow them out that way. Okay, so that's for my keely fish. That's gonna be for my really small microfishes, not my mollies. Speaking of my molly tank, I'm gonna be moving these mollies into this tank. So they are just in this tank right now. I have mollies in this tank, and I also got some mollies down in this tank too. This tank here is, I got a whole bunch of my homemade DIY canister filters in there. So that's another thing, I need to do something with that. That's gonna happen sometime this week. This tank here, I still need to do a bunch of work on this one as well to get this more structured and organized. This is one of my canister filters here. This is one of my canister filters with some K1 in there. So yeah, there's a lot of mixed fish in here that I need to separate. But I'm just kind of showing you guys how things look right now because work in progress. I started moving all of this stuff a month ago. So not to mention I was also working, you know, my private practice as a therapist. So this is my garden tank. It needs a lot of work, obviously. I got to get this thing all fixed up and organized again. These are supposed to be my 24 karat gold guppies. I know there's a bone in there. I thought it would be kind of, it's like a turkey bone, you know, like it was cooked in the oven. I figured the fish are obviously fine. It's been in there for more than a month. I had this turkey bone Thanksgiving, right? You know, so it was in the shed. Then I threw it in here. So obviously the fish aren't dead. Plants are fine. So it's just weird. I don't know. My Maltese shell dwellers. I'm gonna pick up myself some shells for these guys because these guys live in shells. But for right now, they're just kind of hanging out in here. Okay, so I think that's good. You guys, this is what things look like right now. So I'm gonna do another video here in a couple of days, but this is what things look like right now. So give me, you know, like, I don't know whoever's watching this, but when you work full time and this is your hobby, it's gonna be very time consuming, and it's okay. It's okay. The fish are gonna be fine as long as you know what you're doing as far as the fish go. I know everything looks like shit in here. Well, I mean, hey, they're fine. They're healthy. You know, I've got baby fish. I've got fish having babies in here. So if they're having babies in here, obviously they're okay. You know, these are my blueberry snails, for instance. I did something a little crazy, and I picked up blueberry snails while I am in the process of trying to fix all this craziness. And these guys have been in here for more than a week now, and they're still alive. So, you know, yeah. Putting the green water in there. I got my fish food, which we're gonna do a video on my fish food later. But yeah, so yeah, it is. It's chaos, but you know, if you like doing this, if this is something you like to do, then yeah, be okay with it. Just pace yourself and don't beat yourself up if you have bumps in the roads. And we're all here to support each other. There's lots of YouTube channels that are way more established than me that would be more than happy to help and give, you know, any type of, you know, whatever, any type of advice. So I am not a pro at this. I am pretty messy about this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, just to show you guys what happens when you take sponges out. Oh, I shouldn't have stirred this up. But yeah, this was in my sponges. All this, all these scuds and everything. So I'm going to suck these guys out. I'm going to suck them out tomorrow, though. I'm just going to throw some water in here, and I'll suck these guys out tomorrow, and I'll throw them in probably my molly tank. All right, I'm going to bed, guys. I'm going to bed, and I will upload this video, and I will have another video for you guys in a couple of days. Those of you that are watching these videos as I'm putting them out, thank you very much. I've got lots of plans for the future, but before I get interrupted, because my wife did try to call me a moment ago, and I just hit ignore because I was doing this video. She doesn't know I'm doing a video, but yeah, it's kind of cool. This guy here tweaking out on the rock. It's kind of fun. Well, he was like wiggling around all over the place. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.